Hi, welcome to another episode of Look Ma No Hands. My name is Linda, and this is my podcast where I talk about all things crochet, yarn, sometimes art and painting, what I'm reading, what I've been watching on TV and sometimes at the movies, and just anything that inspires me. So this week I'm not wearing anything crocheted. Just didn't feel like putting on any crochet items today, so there's that. What I've been stitching this week, haven't had quite as much time as I usually do to do some stitching because of the holiday, so I did work a little bit on my granny square project that I'm still continuing to work on, and I finished the pistachio poncho that I was working on at the end of last week for my mom, and she loved it. She said she'll probably use it mostly when she's watching TV. It's a little bit restrictive, I guess you could say, just because of the style that it is, but she says it'll be perfect for TV watching and snuggling down in the evening on cold winter nights. So there's that. She was very happy with it, so I'm happy with it. I only finished one book this week, and I wasn't super excited about it. It's a book that I've tried a couple of times to read already, and the first few times I tried reading it, I was reading the print version. This time I decided to take a stab at the audio, thinking that maybe I just didn't like having to kind of sit still with the book and be tied to just the task of reading. I really enjoy consuming stories while I'm doing other things like cleaning and straightening up, or crocheting, or whatever I'm doing around the house. I have a hard time just sitting still to read. So listening to audiobooks is my preferred way to do that. And this week I read No Gods, No Monsters by Cadwell Turnbull. It's kind of like a sci-fi fantasy type book. I think what I didn't really like about it is just the kind of back and forth between a couple of time periods and storylines. It was almost kind of like trying to read about or listen to a soap opera, and like that format works fine for daytime television, but it didn't really work for me that well with this particular story. It's about, I guess you could say, like werewolves and monsters and like shifters, like all these different kinds of characters, and kind of tensions between the human world and the supernatural world, almost kind of equating it to like racial tensions in our country. And I don't know if maybe just that parallel didn't sit with me, or what it was about the book that I just, the premise of it initially intrigued me, but when I read the story, I just couldn't get into it. It is a series of stories. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick up the second one. I just really wasn't that into it. So if you're into the supernatural and fantasy type stories, maybe this is one that you'll like to pick up, but for me, it was just kind of eh. So not really one that I would recommend, but that's what I read this week. So I will continue to share what I read, even if I don't like it. What we've been watching this week is obviously General Hospital. They always do a storyline at Thanksgiving time of the Quartermain's Thanksgiving disaster, so I like watching it for that, to see what they're going to do with the story for how the Quartermains end up eating pizza for Thanksgiving again. So we'll see what they do with it. They did all of like the lead up into Thanksgiving, so we'll see how they wrap up the story with the Quartermains not getting to have turkey for Thanksgiving dinner. And we saw the final episode of Dancing with the Stars, the finale, the big celebration, and we were happy with who won. So it was a very satisfying ending, and Tim was laughing at me because, of course, I was crying tears of joy because I was so happy with who ended up winning. I'm not going to do any spoilers or anything just in case somebody out there still hasn't seen it. If you haven't seen it, I'm wondering where you are that you were able to avoid all of the spoilers up to this point, but I won't be one to do that for you. So just to say that I was happy with how it ended. We're powering our way through Who's the Boss because they're taking it off of Hulu as of Thursday. So we've got about 10 more episodes to go, and we really would like to finish it before it's no longer available to stream on Hulu. So there's that. And we're continuing to watch through The Golden Girls, which, like I said, we really like watching the show. Just the humor in it kind of tickles our funny bone. So we've been watching that in the evenings. We're continuing to watch the Holiday Baking Championship, which again is a show that we really get into. It's a fun show to watch while we're eating dinner. It's, I don't know, kind of one of those things that the competition and then the whole theme of like food and things like that, we get ideas of like, oh, that would be fun to make that, or, you know, hearing of the stories behind the different bakers' traditions for why they make certain things. Fun little stories in there, so that's one of the things that we like watching. We've continued watching The Residents, which is a Shonda production, and we've been enjoying that. Again, like I said, it's like a whodunit, and we're trying to figure out, along with the detectives in the show, and it kind of almost seems like maybe there is no resolution to it, but we're going to keep watching to see if we can find out or figure out who the murderer is. So it'll be interesting. Or if there even was a murder, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But I'll keep you updated as to what we find out. Continuing to watch the Runarounds on Prime Video, which is a great little like teen drama, I guess you could call it. Like I said, I enjoyed watching it just to see one of my favorite General Hospital actors in a role that's not his General Hospital character. So I've been enjoying that. And then on Tuesday, my mom and Tim and I went and saw Wicked for Good. Since we saw the first half of it earlier in the year, we did not hesitate to go out and watch the second one, and we loved it. It was great, although it was a little long. Somehow I don't know how I managed to make it through the entirety of the first one without having to take a break in the middle of it for bathroom, but this time I did not make it, so I missed a little bit in the middle of the movie because I had to go to the bathroom, but oh well. It was really good. I love musicals, I really do, so it was fun to go and see it on the big screen. We convinced my husband Rick to watch the first one on streaming, so he watched that now over the holiday weekend, and he and I might go and see Wicked for Good so that he can see it. He said he didn't realize how much he was going to enjoy it. I guess he didn't think like musicals are kind of his thing, but he said it was actually really good, so he's intrigued and might want to go see Wicked for Good. So I guess he was feeling a little left out, I don't know, but he is considering maybe going out to see the second one. So that'll be fun. I'll keep you guys updated as to whether or not we have a little date night and we go out to see that. And then just in like painting and art, I have a subscription to Sketchbox, which is like a subscription service for art supplies. And usually when I get them, I don't know what to do with them. And I just kind of, even though there's like tutorials and stuff that come with them, I feel a little intimidated by the art supplies, which seems silly to say, but I am. This month, the supplies in the box were watercolors, and they were really cool because they were like shimmery. The intention is to kind of use them to make like holiday themed artworks. So I pushed aside my fear of like, what do I do with these, and cracked into it as soon as it came through the mail, and got busy working through the lesson that comes in the little pamphlet in the box. And then I went on to their YouTube channel to see what else they had suggested for how to use the supplies, and saw another really cute lesson on there. They're real short lessons, like maybe 10 minutes or so. So I'm going to go ahead and do the second one, but I will pop in a picture of my first attempt at this month's Sketchbox lesson. It turned out decent. Not perfect. I probably will go back and do it again watching the video instead of just using the printed version of the lesson, but it turned out decent, and I'm excited to go ahead and dive into the other lesson that came with it to see how I can do. What I might end up doing is making a few Christmas cards with these supplies to send out to my friends and family. Like I said, the sparkly shimmer watercolors that came in it are really cool for the holidays here, so I'm excited to practice a little more with those funky sparkly watercolors and see what I can come up with. Kind of a short episode this week, like I said, not a lot to talk about because I was busy doing all the holiday things and just didn't really have time to do much reading or anything like that, so a little quickie episode this week, but I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you again next week.